Hi everyone, I hope everybody's doing okay. My battery is very low and I am not prepared. So I'm going to try and make this as quick as possible. I just had a few moments anyway, and what I wanted to do was talk about my hospital experience, my last rheumatology experience, and a little bit about hydroxychloroquine. I think I might have to come back and read about hydroxychloroquine, but I don't think I have time to do it now. So I'll just talk a little bit about my experience so far and my hospital appointment and where I'm going to go from here. Whew. So basically, first of all, if I'm sweating, it's because it's really, really hot today. I think it's 30 degrees or something. I started taking hydroxychloroquine a few months ago. I have a list on my iPad and phone where I say I have like a daily list to check off of things that I've done or haven't done, and it's my minimal kind of thing. I think I talked about it once in one of my videos. So it was things like meditate, stare at the sky, eat this, do that, whatever. And so on that, I also had what kind of medication, what kind of supplements I've taken, so that I know if anything is helping or not helping and that kind of thing. Just basically it's like a track. And so on there, I wrote every day that I had Plaquenil. And I'm going to sneeze. It's like hay fever. One sec. Oh my God. Oof. Yeah, so I wrote down. I can't be bothered to grab my iPad right now. But anyway, it was about, say I took hydroxychloroquine for about 80 days. I think it was 80 days. And what happened in that time? So at the beginning, for the first few days, I had quite a bit of earache, and I had a bit of a headache, and I had a little bit of sort of like I would notice, say if I was reading or suddenly look somewhere, it's like, oh, hold on, this is a bit blurrier than what it's usually like. And I said to myself, I'm gonna give myself, I know that there's side effects at the beginning, and I'm gonna give it some time to see what these go. The eye stuff was tolerable, and it did go, and I am like, I have a, what do you call it? I have this thing about eyes. A trigger kind of thing. So if it was going to be that bad, believe me, I would have come off it. So it wasn't that bad at all. It was just a little bit. You kind of, for me, um, my ears lasted longer, and that again I was concerned about because I have heard that you could get where you get ringing in your ears, and want that either. So I was very careful to see how bad these things got, but things got better rather than worse. I can't really remember anything else that was major right now. I know I must have written it down at the time. I think I did, but it was kind of useless. It was like first couple of weeks. Now, what I had heard from one lady messaged me, excuse me, I'm going to blow my, on Instagram, and she said that she couldn't take it for more than 2 days because her personality completely changed, and she became somebody completely different, and her kids noticed it, her family noticed it, and she just came off it, and she said she hated it. And I know that it can make you go, I mean, I don't want to scare anyone because it can work. I mean, I don't know. I am not going to be for or against hydroxychloroquine because I don't know enough about it. So I can only talk about my experience. And okay, I just talked about this lady, but yeah, so I was really concerned about that side of it, the psychological side of it, because when you get it, you read the pamphlet, and it says you could become suicidal, you could become like all these things, and I was just like, look how desperate I was to take it, because yeah, you don't want to get into that state. Anyway, so none of that happened for me, so I was thinking, great, I'll just carry on, this is great. My plan was always to take it for about maximum of a year, because a lot of doctors say it takes between 3 to 6 months. A lot of them say 6 to a year. The actual Sjogren specialist that I saw said it could take up to a year. So I was on 200 milligrams a day. Anyway, that didn't happen. On day, I guess 80 or something, whatever day, my last day that I took it, yeah, that day, I noticed like all of a sudden I'd get this kind of like bing, funny description, but it was like this kind of like a sudden kind of psychotic kind of second of like that. And it was really weird. It was like it took over my brain. And as far as mental health issues, I have had depression and I have had anxiety. So I know what both of those are like. I have even been, I don't want to, you know, even been many, many years ago in that situation where trigger warning, like suicidal, like many, 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 many years ago. So I know what all these things feel like. This was different, and it worried me because it was a very split second, which can happen with all the things I mentioned, but in a very extreme split second. And I was like, oh my God, I'm concerned because I've heard that this is the other thing. You hear different stories. Please tell me who knows the facts about this. I haven't bothered looking properly because you go on Google and one place says one thing, the other one says something, and you have to spend a long time researching, and I just can't be bothered sometimes. I know it's for my own good, but sometimes I just want to live and not be a researcher. I'm sure you know what I mean. Anyway, so yeah, some people say that hydroxychloroquine stays in your body for about 3 months, something like that. It was long. And then some say it has, so that's why if you come off it, you won't get withdrawal symptoms because it's in your system. That's what some people say on the internet. And then some places say that it's in your body for about 3 or 5 days or something. I tried to ask my rheumatologist about this, and I'll tell you his answer. Well, I don't know what I didn't really understand his answer. And anyway, I'll get to him. Anyway, so I thought to myself, oh my God, am I going to be feeling like, if it is, I wasn't sure if it was meds or I had been triggered a little bit that week on something, but I have been triggered on things in the past, and I know what that feels like. And this was different. And it wasn't, when I've been triggered in the past, it's been bad and I've had to get myself out of it through different kind of therapeutic things. But this was different. It was just like, I don't know. So I thought, okay, I'm not risking it. I won't take it. I'm seeing the hospital though in a week's time, so they could tell me if they think it was the meds. And so that feeling lightened. It only happened, I think, 3 incidents in one day, and it was just a second. And I thought, that's why I thought I better stop because maybe it'll just accumulate. And then, oh, a butterfly. So I didn't take it. So so the next day I had moments, but it wasn't as extreme. And oh my God, I mean that night I became so, that was me. I pretty much was trying to stop myself from having a panic attack all night because I was so scared of, am I going to feel worse? It was just horrible. So yeah, so I stopped taking it. And the next day was a bit better. It wasn't as extreme, and I could just tell that I had, it was like anger issues, um, a little bit here and there. And when I think about it, I have actually got very angry a couple of times, and I just thought that's me being normal. I got annoyed with somebody, and basically it was me. It was a long story. I'm not going to go into it, but we have a mutual friend who had recommended this friend to call me about something, and she was really being annoying about it. And I called the other friend, and I went like blah 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 blah, blah. And I would never normally do that. I'd be much more diplomatic. Yeah, and then so I had my rheumatology appointment. I think it would say be about 7 days after stopping hydroxychloroquine. And so this was what happened in my appointment. The guy was already in a bad mood. I noticed this because a patient before me, as as I was going in, this patient came to him and said, and he's like, yeah, just ask the reception. He was just like, and I had seen him the time before, and he was pretty okay with me. He was pretty okay. I could tell he was, I don't know, there's something about him. Ow. Oh, that's him. That's his hatred towards me. There was something. Why does that feel better when you were a kid? That does feel better. When you're a kid, that's what your mom does, right? Blow on you, or you do it for your kids. Or you don't, I don't know. I used to. Anyway, yeah, so there was something about him. There's something, like, just, anyway, I definitely got that something this time around. So basically, went in, and I always record my appointments because I forget what they say. I sometimes just don't take in what they say, not all of it. So it's really good to hear it back. Now, as far as I know, from I have looked at different sources, things may have changed. Okay, say my battery is low. I'll try as much as I can. Yeah, the last time I looked, it said that it is very absolutely legal to record your medical appointments. And just out of courtesy, you should ask them, tell them that you're recording, kind of thing. So anyway, and I always ask them if it's okay, and they always say yes. And I'm pretty sure I must have done that with him last time, because yeah, I've always done it. So he did let me last time. He was in a bad mood. So I had forgotten that I forgot about recording. I went straight in there, started talking to him. He asked me how I was. I said that I am feeling much better, and I don't know whether it's the medication or if it's because of, bizarrely enough, these magnesium baths I take, and possibly B1 together or whatever, but the magnesium baths are very obvious because I feel great whenever I take them. So I said, I don't know. And I said, well, maybe we'll be able to tell in tests. Oh, and then he starts to say, yes, well, we never know if these pills are placebo or not. Wow, that's the first I've heard from a doctor. And that's when I remembered, oh my God, I should be recording this. And I guess that's the wrong time because of one thing he said. And I said, oh, I forgot to record this. Can I just record this? And he's like, I'd rather you didn't. And I was like, oh, okay. May I ask why? And he said, well, because I'd just rather you didn't. And I said, well, it is legal to record you. And he said, yes, but with my consent. And I'd rather you didn't. I was like, okay, fine. So annoying. And then I thought maybe it's because he said that placebo thing. And then I said, oh, yeah. So obviously I had gone to a private rheumatologist, a specialist in Sjogren's. And I think he was a little bit, whatever that word is, for me to have done that. So he said something like, so are you taking the 400 tablets like the thing told you, the lady told me, and the rheumatologist? And I said, no, I just went there for a second opinion. I didn't really go there for a second opinion. I went there to ask some questions, which she never answered. I never got a chance to. That's a different video in itself. And I said to him, well, actually, for ask some questions, and she never really asked them. And you could see this big grin on his face. So you could tell that he was not happy that I had gone to someone else who was a Sjogren's specialist at my hospital. These people are not Sjogren's specialists. They don't know that much about it. So I said, oh, well, yeah, anyway, so maybe we could tell how it's been, working for me, maybe with some blood tests. And he's like, no, we don't need to do any blood tests. We won't be able to tell anything with blood tests. We could just tell from how you are. Hello, you can tell a lot from blood tests. You can tell what my inflammation levels are like, my hemoglobin, my this and that. You could even check my magnesium, since I'm talking about magnesium. You need to be doing blood tests when you have somebody on hydroxychloroquine. And I think it has been about 4 months since I saw them before, maybe. And you'd say, okay, maybe they want to wait 6 months, but I got a letter after saying for me to see them in October. So that's way past that. So he was just being a stubborn and whatever the words, I can't think of the words, but he was being a pain in the ass. And I thought, well, here I was, and also I was going to do a video. I was going to state what hydroxychloroquine does. I was going to, talk about my experience. And then I was going to wait for blood tests, thinking I was going to have them to say, yeah, it's worked for me up to this. That was my appointment. And I walked out of there saying, right, I'm going to ask my doctor to refer me to a different hospital, even if it's a million miles away. This hospital that I've been at is known to be a very, very good hospital, but their rheumatology has been a joke ever since. I'm thinking, maybe when was I first referred to rheumatology? Maybe in 2016 or something. And it took them up until 2021 to tell me I had Sjogren's. And even though they had known I had Sjogren's at least a year before, maybe 2 years before, to be fair, they didn't know it up to then, and I know these things can take time. I probably have had Sjogren's for a lot longer. But anyway, so that was that. I think that's all I wanted to say. What else? So where do I go from here? Oh, yes. So he suggested, sorry, this is it. He said yes. He thinks that the mental stuff was because of hydroxychloroquine. And he said that I should give it another 10 days for it all to kind of settle, and then maybe try it again and maybe do every other day. And I thought that's not a bad idea, but giving it 10 days is interesting because I still had, like, even up until the day before yesterday, maybe. So that has been, so it's definitely still affected me. I think I'm fine now. Yeah, I am fine now. I know I am. So now it's gone. So I could start every other day, but I don't want to. I don't want to until I have blood tests and see how if it's modulating me, my autoimmune or not. One thing he kind of mumbled when I asked him how long it stays in your system and how I was worried about the mental state. Like, people say it stays for 3 months. And he said, no, that's just that the modulating happens after 3 months. Well, I've been taking it more than 3 months, so I'd like to kind of be able to tell. That's where the private doctor was good, because she did one test that they hadn't done. And I think, I forget what it's called, but I think it's your hemoglobin, but I think it is your white blood cells. Yeah, and I think from that, you'll be able to tell. So I'm gonna definitely stop, because if it isn't that's helping, then I don't want to be taking it, because I also found out that people say that you could get ocular problems, all these words I could use, but basically you could go blind at the end of the day, get toxicity, and you got to watch out for it and all that kind of stuff. But what I didn't know, it may not be right, but I keep seeing it on the internet, is that it could still happen once you've stopped taking it. So all I would say, if you want to take hydroxychloroquine, do a lot of research, do a lot more research than I have done, for sure. Ask all the questions from more than one rheumatologist, and and see how you go. If it has been hydroxychloroquine that has helped me, it's been amazing, because I am back to normal. Yesterday I went to see my daughter just for a drink in the pub. There was noise. I hadn't slept at all that night because of something. And normally if I haven't slept for a whole night, I'm in a state. But no, I was okay. I was just a bit sleepy. And things like that. And I'm doing more. I have to say that I have really changed my lifestyle, though. When I say I'm doing more, I still stop myself. I still pace myself. If I do a lot one day, like last couple of days, I didn't sleep the night before last. I was very busy in the last week. And today I'm quite busy, but I'm staying in. I'm going to do all the stuff I need to do slowly. Um, I was supposed to meet somebody last night. I canceled that, even though I thought, okay, I could see them for an hour, but no, I canceled that. I'm sorry. It's all the allergies. But yeah, so I mean, I am listening to my body and to my brain, but and maybe, and I'm taking the supplements and I'm doing a lot. So maybe all of it together has helped, or maybe with all of it together with hydroxychloroquine has helped, or maybe just hydroxychloroquine has helped. But what I can say is, whilst I've been on hydroxychloroquine and I have had bad days, as soon as I had that magnesium bath, I would feel fine. So I still don't know, and I won't know until I have some tests. So I'm going to ask my GP to refer me to another hospital, see if he can take any tests himself. I know he can't take some of the ones that rheumatology can take, but maybe he could just take the, ESR and those inflammation factors. Not that I don't know how much they're going to help, because I have allergies and hay fever, so I know, and asthma and all sorts of things. So we need all the real, like, major blood tests. But anyway, also, I suppose if I start getting worse, then and I'm doing all the things I'm doing, then I know that it was that. How long it takes to get worse, I don't know. And I haven't even taken it for that long. Because I hope it was somewhat helpful. And if it wasn't, I guess it was just my story with my rheumatologist. Sending everybody lots of love as always. It's Saturday and it is blooming hot in London. If you are in the UK and it's hot, I hope you have ways of cooling down. I think I'm going to go take another cold shower now. And oh, that's my stomach rumbling. It's still quite early. I normally have breakfast straight away, but I just had a slice of watermelon to keep me going to do this video quickly, to go and have my porridge. And I am having my consultation, half an hour free consultation with that functional medicine guy who works just solely with Sjogren's patients. Very excited about that, and I will tell you all about that, and we will hopefully have him on this channel as well. So that will happen soon. Sending everybody lots of love, wishing you a lovely weekend, and see you soon. Bye.